All right, you're good.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order at 4:30. Brighton Community Events Committee. Start with the approval of the agenda. Jessica, I've got a couple of items that we should probably throw on regarding financial.
So do you want to do that first then, Phil? Should we amend the agenda before we approve it if you've got additions?
Yes. If you could hold my hand here with process, it'd be appreciated. Yes, if we could make some amendments if possible. One of note being, we're going to have to discuss financials today regarding payments for Santa and Mrs. Claus, and also for bands. I guess we can get to that topic back in once we get to section 6 on discussion. Would that be the right way to handle that?
I think so.
Any other additions, folks? No? Okay, so
I think
we're going to approve the amended agenda then, with that being discussion on financial once we get to the discussion section on the parade.
I'll move that.
I can't even get myself to participate in this thing.
We can hear you. Go up.
They can hear you.
Push the video button up in your top right, Murray. The little camera icon,
Top right, okay.
and you should pop up. We can hear you.
Yeah, you'll have to pretend you're on the phone.
Just pretend you're on the phone. Just talk.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
You can't see my lovely face, but you can hear my voice.
Okay. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Declaration of pecuniary interests and the general nature thereof. Anyone got anything to offer in that category? I take that as a no. We'll move on to approval of the minutes from the previous meeting, 14 September 2021. Were there any concerns or notations anyone has to bring up regarding that? And do we need a motion on that to approve those?
Yes, please.
Can someone bring forth a motion to approve the previous minutes of our previous meeting, please?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Second? Thank you. Emily? Delegations under 5.1. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Jerry, I don't know if it's Drage or Drage, from My Broadcasting Corporation, was to attend today regarding a delegation. However, he wasn't quite sure of the date. He thought the meeting was later in the month. At any rate, he's away, not able. And the gist of his delegation was that through participation of his radio station, our committee, the DBIA, and the chamber, that he proposes we initiate a home decorating, business decorating, and industrial business decorating competition. And he was willing to participate and assist with that and give all sorts of promo through My FM and so far and so forth. As we discussed at our last meeting, I believe Emily was going to give us an update on our rendition of the decorating competition, or decorating, wouldn't be really a competition, just decorating of homes, and the rewards that folks were to get Perhaps would you rather leave that, Emily, to our discussion section, or should we bring it up now?
Yeah, it needs to go to, well, I don't know about this, but I'm not sure, maybe Ben or Caroline would know this is something that Jerry should probably connect with the municipality with, and also maybe DBIA. I know there's been a little discussion at DBIA. We have a meeting next week, so I can certainly bring any kind of information there. I know they have some gift cards left from what we didn't use this summer with Canada Day, so they're probably good to help out at some point for sure, and maybe a bit more we can top up that budget. But I'm guessing Ben, we'd have to work with the municipality on this as well when there's other monies involved.
Yeah, Jerry came in to see me a couple weeks ago with this idea, and I suggested that he get it in front of the committee, just so we could, if there's a variety of things going on, that the committee knew about it. From a kind of a labor standpoint, it sounds like he's going to do quite a bit of the heavy lifting, and then I think between myself and the DBIA, we can kind of organize it fairly easily. So essentially, you register your home, and then we create some sort of judging space, a couple weeks, 10 days, whatever the case may be. And then you send in your top, residential, you send in your top business, send in your top industrial, and there's 2 or 3 categories. And then we hand out prizes accordingly. So a little bit different than what we've done in the past, where you send in your own and then you get a prize based on a draw. This would actually be a full-on competition. So it could complement the parade idea. And it sounds like MyFM would do a lot of the heavy lifting on a promotional standpoint, very little cost to no cost. So it could be a nice add-on.
Thoughts?
So we tried, Phil.
Yeah.
We tried to do this. We tried to do this 2 years ago, and for some reason we decided to go with the format in which we did undertake for a specific reason. We had talked about having judging. We had talked about that kind of thing. What was the reason why we went with what we went with? Does anybody remember? Was it too onerous for us?
I recall it was, I think our logic was to take the competition out of it. It was more of a participation and just showing that, and certainly for Canada Day, it was more a case of people that have interest in decorating their homes did so, and therefore they were able to possibly receive a gift certificate as opposed to a competition.
So if the radio station and the DBIA want to get involved and run it, what exactly do we have to do with it? I mean, to me, it just would make sense that the radio station work with the DBIA, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's my thought. It's very involved. Prizes were, his theory was that prizes would be sort of decided upon at a later point, I guess through the DBIA and his organization, which would have no part in us. I thought Ben, what did you think on last year's, not competition, but last year's Christmas decorating format? It appeared to work well. I think we had 20 prizes. Did you get good feedback on that?
Yeah, that went really well last year. I want to say there was close to 50 entries or something along those lines. But this would be just something a little different, add a little more competition to it. And then give residents the option to send in their top for each category. Could try it, see how it goes. Maybe this committee doesn't really take it on. I just thought it'd be a good idea for him to at least get the concept in front of the committee, because it is a community type event, and go from there. But maybe he just needs to work with myself and the DBIA on it and steer it away from this committee. That's fine too.
Certainly, my thinking is that if we're going to be back involved with a Christmas parade whether it's static or not. With the few volunteers that we have on the committee, that's going to keep our hands full. I would suggest, am I on? Yeah, I guess I'm on. I would suggest that that we just turn it back to the DBIA and to the radio station to run with it how they think they should run with it.
I just add a little bit to that. My guess is with the radio station, it would be gift in kind, correct, Ben? As far as they would do all of the promotion, which is no cost to us or no cost to the DBIA. I'm just wondering how deep the pot for the DBIA will be. If we're going to make this a competition, it's probably going to involve a few more dollars, and not that the DBIA is at the bottom of the pot, but they also have monies to spend for other things other than just contests like this. So I guess where I was going, if this, we have money in our budget that we're not spending. I don't know what the Santa Claus budget is. Phil, you might have numbers on that as we talk about it later. But I'm wondering if, as far as involvement goes, if we support monetarily the idea of this competition, because like I said, I think if you're looking for DBIA to kind of put all of it up, I'm not so sure that there's going to be a lot. I don't know, but I'm just guessing. It's not going to be thousands of dollars regardless of who does it. But the DBIA's budget is limited as well as far as what they would spend on this kind of thing.
But why does it always have to be dollars and prizes? Why can't people win trophies? Why do we always have to throw up thousands of dollars to get people involved when, certainly, here's your prize, your first place prize is this or that. You know what I mean? People are decorating their houses for the most part at Christmas anyway. And so if they can't convince them that community pride and jumping into the Christmas season during a crappy 2 years isn't enough, why do we always have to throw cash at the issue?
Incentive, I guess.
Yeah, I think I get what he's getting at with his proposal, but my fear is that it's going to be people that have the big bucks that are putting out for all these decorations. And what about the folks that are just as festive and just willing to participate as anyone else, but they might not have the same level of decorations. Why should those folks be graded or categorized any differently? I think last year, the way we did it, it was just a simple draw. It didn't matter if you had a 50-foot tree decorated or some lights around your doorway. I thought it was just more open to the whole community the way it was done last year. That's just my personal opinion on it.
So do we just want to go with that and work with the DBIA?
And Ben said he had 50 folks last year participate. I'd say that's a pretty good number. I don't know. Are people going to drive around and judge? If they don't, then what happens?
I'm game for supporting what we did last year. I thought it worked out well, and I don't know how quick we were off the mark in getting information out, but if we can, we seem to have and no disrespect to all of the staff on this, but there's a whole lot more staff on this meeting than I recall us ever having on meetings before. And I know I've been a little delinquent lately, but I'm sure with the resources that we have available to us through our social media and the website, we probably would be able to get the word out even better to get people to participate and do what we did last year.
And as I recall, Ben, correct me if required, was it not 100 certificates from our committee and 10 from the DBIA?
Yeah, and we also broke it up into rural and urban last year. Not sure if the committee would want to do that again or how critical that is, but there is a lot more urban than rural. So I think pretty much any rural that got a submission and got a prize in the end. But yeah, whatever you guys want to do. The point the point of the whole thing was just to bring this in front of you and have this discussion. So
It was 10 and 10 last year, rural and urban, or did we go 15 and 5?
might have been 15 and 15.
I think it's 15 and 15 to 15.
So it was even, whatever it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's-
There was just a lot more urban submissions than
Which makes
rural.
sense. Which
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mark, Emily, what are your thoughts from a council point of view, how the proposal from the delegation would be accepted as opposed to what we did last year? Not that we have to do what we did last year, just weighing it. What are your thoughts?
Go, Mark.
I didn't know if you were gonna go first, Emily.
No,
I like what you did last year, but I
me
also,
too.
I agree with what Tom said. I would be just as happy, you know, and I think people would participate with recognition certificates. I don't think you always have to dangle the big carrots in front of them either. But if you did what you did last year, I don't know if you're gonna split it up rural and urban. I don't know if that's entirely necessary. Sometimes that creates divide even when you split it up, because I think, Ben, you just touched on it. You know, there wasn't that many that came in from the rural, so they all got prizes where you said some overlooked in the town, but last year's was fine. But even if you didn't have prizes, I'd be good with that. If we came up with some kind of recognition certificate for everybody that participated, I don't think you always have to throw the big gift cards at people myself. It's like Tom said, at Christmas time, there's so many people decorate regardless, and they're biting at the bit to do it now, so.
Yeah, I think we started promoting it shortly after Remembrance Day. I wouldn't want to do it any earlier than that.
No.
So regardless, it would appear that Ben and Ms. Birch will be able to handle this regardless of how we go. I mean, with their expertise and their marketing and communication skills. So I guess we have to come up with a decision now as to what we feel would be the best route. Are we gonna allow Mr. Drage? Is it Drage, Ben?
Believe so. Yeah.
Allow Mr. Drage to work with town staff and determine the outcome of how they want to run things, or do we want to stick with what we had last year? Or do we want to do a revamp on last year without monetary rewards, I guess we could call it. The whole thrust of it last year, of course, was to get people to spend downtown. That was the logic.
Yeah.
And I would think it's going to be the same with Mr. Drage's theory this year. However, I don't think he's really hasn't really set out what his plans are on these awards and how extensive they're going to be to the, you know, what monetary value they're going to be and so on and so forth. So unfortunately, he's not available. I don't know if we can really put it to another meeting. It's, you know, we'd be another month. I guess we'd have time. We'd still have a week before things have to get going.
I mean, if you need somebody to step in and say, I think we should move, or whether it's a motion time or whatever, but I think we should just accept his idea as a good idea, but I think we should move on and stick with what we did last year. This year, we've got this new static parade being thrown into the mix, which will keep us busy enough as a committee moving up until whenever that's going to happen. So, you know, last year worked pretty well, and keep our fingers crossed more people will participate based on last year's format.
I'll second that motion of yours, Tom, if that's how you want it to go. I agree, and as Phil mentioned as well, from the DBIA point of view, exactly. I mean, it was, you know, they put some of the gift cards in with the idea that, you know, businesses in town would maybe benefit from some of that. So, yeah.
I mean, I appreciate what Mr. Drage is doing, but I mean, the bottom line is he's also trying to drum up business for him too, in a sense, right? And while it's nice to have some assistance, but I guess since my motion was so wordy, I'll just say I move that we accept Mr. Drade. I move that we continue with the same project we did last year at Christmas, of course, if the DBIA is willing to jump on board.
I'll still second that rambling, Tom.
Well,
Some things never change.
Go
I
ahead,
mean,
Jeff.
Mr. Drage can still deal with the DBIA as well, right? If he has a conversation with them in the near future, maybe they can, bring something together. They can always report back to us at the next meeting. If there's nothing that we really need to do other than monetary or what have you. It's just let them do that kind of deal. Like we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
It's not going to change anything. It's just, he can
Yeah.
still go talk to the DBIA.
Right. And like
So
I said,
then
we have a meeting next week, so I'll bring it to the meeting anyway. If our board wants to discuss both options. I know they were pretty pleased with how things went last year. I don't know how many of those dollars were spent in Brighton, but I know there were some spent. So, they were a little bit encouraged by that. So that would be a good thing also. But like I said, I'll bring it to our meeting next week, and the board can decide whether they want to participate this way, which my guess is, or they want to speak with Mr. Dredge as well.
Okay, so regarding Tom's motion, the gist of it is, Jessica, then that we continue with the process we had last year. We carry on with that for this Christmas or this holiday season. In that we will ask, I guess Emily will ask if DBA is willing to agree on $1,000 from their funding. And if we can do the same, then we'd have the same format as last year. Is that agreeable to everyone?
Yep.
In the motion, can Tom's motion include that money aspect as well? Tom?
Sure.
I will yield to your sage advice. Makes me sick to say it, but I will yield.
Document that.
I will add that in.
Okay, so we've touched that one. So Ben, you'll correspond with Mr. Drage and advise the outcome from this meeting, and perhaps you might have a participation with the town directly through you and the DBIA at a later time.
Sure.
Okay. So Ben, you'll be able to handle the methods you used last year with your social media, and I believe you had some posters. So we'll have to have funding for that as well, will we not?
Yeah, there should be lots in the budget. That's not much money at all to utilize.
And will we need a motion for that, or is that just carried on by staff? Emily?
Should we have a motion just to?
You can just add to my motion that we put a spending limit of, I don't know. How much do you need, Ben?
Yeah, like we can get posters made and do a little bit of paid ads, like Facebook boosts and stuff like that for like literally $100 is all we need. Like it's nothing.
So let's say up to $500, and hopefully, Ben, you won't go that close to it.
No.
But if you have to, you do.
No, we'll be good.
Vote on Tom's motion then, and the additions. Everyone good?
Yep.
Okay. We good, Jessica?
Yep. Sorry, I had actually cut out there for a little bit, but what I got was it sounds like another 500 for promotions.
Yes.
Yeah, I got that.
As per Ben's requirements.
Okay.
Okay. So we're done 5.1. Move on to 6.1, update on council's decision. I guess we have to find out first, Emily, if council decided came to a decision on our proposal of a drive-by float parade. Can you?
Yeah, both Councillor Bateman and I spoke to it at our council meeting last night, based on the draft minutes that were in the agenda. And I certainly got the sense that they were certainly approving that, didn't you, Mark?
Yeah. Yeah, the only feedback we received was on why we chose the location, but I think we justified that quite well last night.
Yeah.
Okay. What were the thoughts? Were there any thoughts on a different location?
Well,
They
I think was the feedback that you could sit in your front yard, Mark?
No, the feedback was, yeah, I could, but I'll be out there helping, I guess. Maybe I'll even put a float in. Some thought that asked about Main Street, but you know, that we have to keep in mind that Main Street is the EDR in case something happens to the 401. And with the entrance in and out, and Chief Smith can attest to this, you can have the loop in and out. So I don't think there's too many spots that will work as well as what we've chosen.
No, agreed. And who knows, that time of year, you know, we have had weather before, so.
Yeah, you imagine having a parade on Main Street and the 401, some for whatever reason gets routed down through number 2 and then down Main Street.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fun.
No.
Okay, so we're good with the location then, as per the town. Float participation. My goodness, it's amazing how many people's cell phones change and or don't exist anymore, and emails change. Right. I've gone through the list that was passed along from Sherry. It's a 2018 list. We didn't get a 19 list. And Jessica forwarded on through Tom Street. There are a bunch of other spots I've also called, but we're getting good feedback. There are a lot of folks that are going to get back, obviously, through their CAOs or supervisors and bosses of companies and so on and so forth. But we have got about 8 organizations that said yes right off the hop with an initial contact. And I've got a lot more to call. We've got in the industrial park so far, we got Vanderlands. I'm going to go speak to those people one-on-one, hopefully tomorrow afternoon, and get more of them on board. Of course, those companies have the benefit of using their parking lots / driveways, so which makes it quite easy for them. We've got, we'll have to discuss band money in a few moments. We've got one that's a go. They contacted us through Emily, the Brighton Quartet. They play brass instruments, and I'm going to reach out to Terry Deniers, see what his group can do, if he can get a group of half a dozen or a dozen of his all-star band members. So far we got Brighton Speedway, Vanderland Building, the Brass Quartet, Applefest Lodge, Chogger Dental, there's my list, hopefully Brighton by the Bay, called Friends of Presqu'île. Nothing from them. The Navy League of Trenton, they're positive. They have to just go through their chain of command. I think we had over 40 participants last year, or in 2019. If anyone has any memory of who some of those others would have been, I can't see it appropriate contacting schools at this point in time. Any thought on that?
Shriners.
Yeah, their numbers. The chap who was the contact with them, Trent Valley Shrine Club, his numbers no longer, so I'll have to look that up. The Harley group, the poor gentleman that's leading that for years, has got health issues, and in speaking with his wife, it sounds like the new board or leaders of their group isn't keen on these type of activities. And as we all recall, the Harley group had a phenomenal float every year. It was really probably one of the better floats. At any rate, I think it's positive. We're going to have, I think we're going to have good participation. So,
Did you mention Santa?
Yep, Santa's good. Yeah, Santa's good. We're good there. Band money. Apparently, it's kosher to ask for about $4,000 in band money. The quartet is after $500, so that's pretty reasonable, I guess. So typically, I guess a band is about $1,000. Now, of course, there's only 5 of them, so there aren't many of them, but thoughts on how much we should perhaps take out of our budget? Our budget is $5,400 for the parade.
And we've got, what about the police? Are we gonna, at the intersections where people are coming in and out, are we gonna have police there to help along traffic? Because we know that 64 won't be closed down, right?
Yeah, I think that would be our best bet. I can look, I can look into that and see if they're able to for such a long period of time, what the format would be there.
Okay.
Sure, if the guidelines for auxiliaries have changed, not if they need direct supervision.
Well, I mean, if we typically spend 4,000, why don't we earmark 4,000, and who knows what we're gonna get back in terms of callbacks go. I mean, if that's our standard moving, in the past, I think we should stick with it. And if we end up spending less, we spend less.
Yep.
However, are we premature on all of this, Emily and Mark, until we get the official okay from council
For what, to hold this?
to start designating money and all that stuff? Should we wait until next council meeting where it's approved?
No, I don't think so, because these dollars were approved in the 2021 budget, correct? So.
No, I know what you're saying, but certainly the council hasn't consented officially to a parade yet, right?
No, they did. You must have missed that.
Yeah, they
Oh, I
did.
must have missed that. Okay,
Yeah.
well then, good. That's good.
So if we need a motion then to have a limit of $4,000 for band payment.
Yeah, I'll move that.
Okay. Pretty straightforward. I don't think we need to rejig that one, Tom. That's pretty straightforward. Here, please.
Sorry, I missed who was seconding for that.
I'll second it, but I'd like to ask a question.
Okay.
So we've earmarked $1,000 for gift cards. Does that come out of the same budget? Or does that come out of just the regular community events budget other ways? Because if we take $1,000 for that, we have $500, up to $500 for promotions, which would mean I'm guessing that would include the parade promotion. Now we have $4,000 just for bands. We still have to pay Santa, and who knows what else. We're already at over our budget. We don't have Santa's payment in there yet.
I
So
believe last year the decoration and promotion for the decoration were out of our general budget, not included in Santa Claus Parade.
Yeah, it's not in the parade.
okay, I'm good with that. So far we've just spent $4,000 out of our Santa Claus Parade budget.
Out of our,
Because we've got, for
54.
Santa, we've got, Lloyd's going to use his sleigh. We've got all those deer that we purchased 2 years ago.
Right.
Or was it 3 years ago? I can't keep track anymore. And we have all of the lights, etc. I guess we'll need a generator, but do we buy toys? Did we buy anything, giveaways for kids
No.
or anything?
And I don't think with COVID we should.
No. And not with vehicles involved. It'd just be recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So we need band money and Santa money.
Do we need advertising money for the radio or the newspaper or Facebook?
Ben, what would the cost be for that, for the parade, do you feel?
Radio, we have a running campaign that we pay all year round, so that's fine. Digitally, we have a pretty extensive following, so getting it out there won't be an issue from a social media standpoint. If you wanted to buy advertising in a newspaper, you're probably looking at somewhere between $250 and $500. Or we can just do a story. I can ask Natalie Hamilton to do an editorial on it, and that's free. So I don't know. Am I missing anything, Caroline? I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and the Facebook also covers Instagram, so you'll have a quite big range of people you can reach through those campaigns.
Mhm.
And are we able to advertise, Chief, on your electronic board on the station, and Jim, yours at the arena?
Yeah, we can do that from here. We also have our Facebook page, so we're quite well followed on that as well.
I think you still might want to do an ad in the Independent the week of, just showing the route.
Yeah.
Does anybody read that paper?
All it takes is one or two.
You're so optimistic.
Hear about it. Nah, wow, I don't know. But you got to remember too, I think we save money on the fact we don't have people along the parade. Did we not pay for that in the past? People like security to keep people back from the floats.
Yeah, you'll have fire
Or
department
maybe I'm
there.
thinking of Apple Fest. I don't know.
You'll have the fire department there directing traffic and kind of scooting people along.
Okay. I wasn't sure in the past if we paid one of the groups to help with the keeping the crowd back.
I think we did with Skate Canada or
That's
with
what
the
I'm
cadets,
thinking.
with the cadets or something, didn't we, Jim? For a few
Well,
years anyway. I don't know of late. I know we used to help. They would send volunteers. We would give them a check. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Well,
just give $500 or something.
So, yeah.
Certainly now though, we're playing with big vehicles, and so we would need something a little more substantial in terms of moving cars along and stuff, right? So do we pay the firefighters for that?
They'll just get their normal standby wage that from the community itself. So there would be nothing from the committee.
Awesome.
Ben, your professional opinion, is it worth spending $300 or $400 in the Brighton Independent when the social media reach you folks have is, I would think, much more superior?
I mean, you would get some digital presence because it would fall into the Northumberland News digital campaign as well when all the papers are online now. So you get some digital as well with the actual hard copy newspaper. Natalie's really good about doing editorials for community stuff. So the fact we're doing something a little different, like a static parade, would probably be pretty interesting. We would do a press release, so she would probably jump all over that along with other parts of the region, like Quinny News and stuff like that. So I think if we left it at that and see where it goes, I think that'll be all the sort of print coverage we need.
You're thinking we could bypass the actual?
I think so. A lot of the time we're just using the newspaper for like notices, like hydrant flushing, and if a committee needs members, or we're not really utilizing it to advertise our community events right now or anything like that. I think there's just so many more dynamic ways to do that people that are going to the event see in other ways.
Thanks for the input. So it looks like we're just dealing with the parade money. Everyone's good with Tom's, well, we second. Have you formally seconded that motion then, Emily?
Yeah. Yes.
4,000. Okay, thank you. Is that good to go, Jessica? That motion?
Yep, that's fine. Are you doing a separate one for Santa, or do you want it kind of all grouped into one?
Why don't we do a second one for Santa?
Okay, go ahead.
I believe last year, I think it was $200 for between the two. This year is going to be lengthier, I would think. Would $300 be appropriate? Do people feel that?
I'm good with that.
$300 for Mr. and Mrs. I think we all saw the quality of them last year, and well, their participation last year in the virtual video, and then their participation 2 years ago. They're pretty authentic.
I just went back to, I've got last year's minutes here from September 9, 2020, where we set the remuneration for Mr. and Mrs. Claus at $100 per hour. Up to a maximum of 8 hours. We're not going to have 8 hours, that's for sure. That's what we approved last year.
Yeah, last year was the video and they went up to
Yeah.
the north end of the town.
Yeah.
So they were probably better than a half-hour drive last year.
We did something last year.
We did the video, remember?
Look, I don't remember anything prior to December 8th that, so the COVID thing sort of screwed up my brain.
Yeah, the Digital Archives did it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or the Photo Club or whatever. Yeah.
In north of Cod.
Like Tammy Archer's farm.
North Pole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, North Pole.
First I've heard of it.
So a seconder for Tom's motion of $300 for the clauses. Thank you, Mark. So as far as we've got our financials covered for the parade, then we've got the band money and the clause, and we feel that through Ben's opinion that we really don't need to spend $300 to $400 to $500 on an advertisement. I would think most people attending probably don't even know what the Brighton Independent is, as far as youth are concerned and younger adults with children. So I think that'll save us some funds. Any other discussion on floats, on how we should move the parade through, or should we just put that to the next meeting?
Hey, Phil. Did we discuss, and maybe we did, the start time and the end time for it?
I think we were thinking, as I recall, it was 7 o'clock till, I don't know. How long did an hour and a half?
7 till 9.
Yeah. Who knows? Some people might want to zip back and come through a second time. I would think 7 till 9 is probably appropriate, but of course we'll have people there. The problem is if we have people there, we'll have to sort of direct folks not to show up early, so we don't have gridlock all over town.
So where's the parade starting? In front of Brighton Tire, basically? Because you want to do the loop, right? You want to come back in front of the restaurant to finish. So you want the parade to start after that turn.
Well, we were kind of talking about it, and it depends on how many floats it is. If we have enough floats that we can go all around the complete loop. But if we only have a short amount, then we'll start on Apple, whatever it is. Sorry, I apologize. That street there by the tire, across from the tire there.
Yeah.
And down there. Yeah. Applewood. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then start going down there and then finish off around the corner by Craig Street. So that would be then have Santa hiding at the back corner. But yes, depends on how many floats we get. If we get a tremendous amount of floats and bands, we'll spread them out and use the whole loop and have Santa right at the end.
Yeah.
So do we want two-way traffic, or do we want just one-way traffic and egress everybody out Applewood and down Catherine? I know it's a residential street, but it would have the parade normally anyway. A residential street would.
I would leave Catherine as emergency exit, but just loop everybody around Loyalist and Craig, and then back out on Loyalist.
So I'm thinking if you start the parade closer, if you start the parade further down, then you'd have that many cars waiting in the line off the highway.
Yeah, you want to get as many on the road on Loyalist as possible and keep 64 clear.
Yeah, depending on where we start.
Number of floats, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And one-way traffic, we don't want two-way traffic at all.
One's definitely the option there, Jim. And then of course the businesses along Loyalist will, if they're participating, we can sort of start it at their parking lots or driveways, as they're all on the driver's right side. So that'll work out well.
I think Mark said something about free hot chocolate or something for everybody going by, but
Popcorn.
If it's coming from his house, I think I'd like something a little stiffer than hot chocolate.
I got the slushy machine, Tom. We can put whatever you want in there.
Sounds good.
You have a brain freeze before you hit Brighton Tire. Okay, so 6.3 additional holiday themed activities. I'm not quite sure what that one's all about. Someone help me out. Did we discuss that at the last meet?
Phil, if you don't mind, I can step in there.
Sure, it's all yours.
So Caroline has a bit of a concept that might be something that just needs to be handed off to a committee such as the DBIA with maybe some municipal support from a monetary standpoint, or maybe this committee's budget, but I'll let Caroline go over the concept.
Yeah, so Ben and I were kind of discussing how we could get businesses involved in kind of Christmassy events, holiday events, and we came up with caroling in the park. Just after the success of Apple Fest and seeing how well that was received, we thought, maybe we could build off that and turn it into more of a holiday themed event. So we were looking at the calendar and we thought, December 20th, a tentative date, kind of kicks off that week for people, with the Christmas being later on, gets people downtown, generates foot traffic for the downtown businesses. If we were to hold it in the evening, you can grab some last minute gifts. People are coming downtown, so there's restaurants that are there that you can visit. Be like a bring your own chair and blanket event, bundle up and sing carols in the park, and then maybe, partner with Lola's and there's hot chocolate for people. In terms of how the caroling looks, we had a few different ideas depending on the weather. If it's -20, we're not going to be able to, haul at a projector and have the words displayed, and, bands might not want to play in that kind of extreme environment. So just having, the music played, playing holiday carols that people know, so you don't have to project the words. And then we threw out the idea of, if there was a budget for it, having Santa Claus there for the kids. And that was kind of where we ended on that idea.
Is there a light up this year, Emily?
I don't know, Jim. I'm assuming there will be some kind of light up. We did have one last year.
Caroline's describing kind of that.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Although it probably will be on a different day because the parade is disconnected, right? We usually did light up right in with the parade, so we wouldn't do that. Or I don't think we would do it that way, right, Caroline? I think you have a different idea there. Sounds good with the Santa thing, Caroline. I would double check with DBIA, as they always host a Saturday afternoon where they have kids meet Santa in the park. Last year, Chief Smith was almost his inaugural community event, I think, wasn't it, Jim? I think it was your first one. He and one or two of the other guys from the volunteers helped us out with that. So there again, I can ask the DBIA if we're going to do that again. Although, like I said, that we usually do that on a Saturday afternoon in December, where kids can drop off their letters and social distance from Santa.
Right.
I think it's a great idea, and what I really like about it the most is that it's close to Christmas. Our Christmas parade and things that we do for Christmas in our community are starting to turn into the Hallmark Channel. Remember when the Hallmark Channel only played movies in the month of December? Now they play them starting November 1st. Well, our Christmas parade is too early, in my opinion, but we do it because it's tough to find things, bands and that kind of thing. But I think the 19th is a Sunday. If I'm correct, am I right on that? Because I think Christmas is a Saturday. But I think it's a great idea to have something that close to Christmas to just get people a little bit more. You're getting people who are a little bit more in the Christmas mood. You get them down in the park and the carols. I think it's a fantastic idea. And if we can provide money from our committee to help, but I would only suggest this, Caroline, if I can just add to your idea, is that we provide an opportunity for us to do something for either the food bank at the same time or a toy mountain where people can donate a Christmas gift for children who are less fortunate, and that would still give us enough days before Christmas to get either the gift or the food to the food bank. But I'm 100% behind you. I think it's a fantastic idea. And that's a standalone away from Light Up Brighton. I think it's a great idea.
We're actually thinking the 20th, the Monday night, because the way the calendar sets up this year, the kids are done on the 17th on the Friday. So there's that whole week of time where they're like anticipating Christmas. So we're actually thinking the Monday evening, when maybe the weekend people are starting to look for things to do, then they can come down on the Monday night.
Well, for me, Ben, I'm going to be watching football. I don't care about carols in the park on Monday Night Football.
Right. You would be Sunday night too, so it doesn't really matter.
That's just me. Yeah, that's true. No, but either night, I'm a big fan of it. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it brings a real sense of community, especially when people can't gather in churches and have the traditional Christmas concerts in their churches. I think having something that close to Christmas outside is fantastic.
Okay, great.
Caroline, what sort of financials are you looking at?
Honestly, this is just a very rough kind of idea. I know Ben said it on the Apple Fest committee in terms of setting up bands, so I'll probably talk to him more about, how much those bands cost if we were to go that route. I don't have a figure. Can I get back to the committee on that?
Can I tell you what Apple Fest paid? We
Yes.
had two bands and we had the sound guy, right?
Yeah.
You need to speak to Bruce Compton. I believe we spent $1,500.
Okay.
We would probably only need one band.
If you're doing caroling, you might even be less.
And there are other options that are available to you that may cost less. I know that we default to bands, but we have resources in the community. I know that the Brighton Orchestra probably charges, but the folks up at Soho and Proctor House are used to putting on a Christmas show every year, and they have talented musicians and singers. You could maybe think about coupling them into it. They've got this kind of thing down pat. I'm not volunteering them. I'm just throwing that out there as an option, especially if you want a community sing along. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of church choirs.
Yeah. The other kind of thing I was thinking, if we have, depending on the weather of whatever winter we're getting, is it valuable to maybe just play a soundtrack? I know that kind of ruins the ambiance a little bit, but is that maybe a backup thing that we need to have in our pocket in case it is inclement weather? Or I guess at that point, who is going to be at the park singing, right?
Yeah.
You know what, Caroline? If people are prepared for it and know it's coming, they'll dress accordingly. You see crazy people out caroling in all kinds of weather.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and then the only other expense would be maybe if we partnered with Lola's, if maybe they could come up with a fixed rate that we paid them, and then it was just an unlimited hot chocolate, whoever asked for one. I'm certainly not going to ask for any freebies at this point in the economy, but maybe we could come up with some sort of partnership there where it's a fixed rate, or maybe they tally them and then they invoice us after the event.
I would suggest you bring that proposal to the DBIA as well, to partner with that kind of with that part of your idea.
Okay.
Okay, obviously this is going to cost money. We realize that. Are we premature, folks, right now to go ahead with the monetary contribution, or should we wait till DBIA's chatted to by Caroline?
Well, I think, Mr. Chair, that we probably should wait, but I think we should wait with great anticipation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's a super idea, and people are going to show up for sure.
it
But we
might
don't,
be, so, sorry.
but we don't need to tag this under the Santa Claus parade, right? You must, you have to realize that community event still has a budget that we haven't used this year as far as concerts in the park. We use very little for I don't know how much we used for Canada Day. It was very little. So, you know, there's still money in our budget for off events, right? So I'm sure, I don't think, do we need to take that to council, Jim, Ben? I don't think so. 'Cause it's
Well,
already
I'm wondering, Emily, because we're going to ask people to gather in a public park, if that's something we should be getting guidance from council on.
we can get guidance from our Jim and Jim here, as that's what we did with Apple Fest. And we cordoned it off, and I can say we had our Apple Fest committee, we had an entrance in, we still have the signs, Ben had them made up. So we were limited to 100 people in the park. At no time did we have over 100 people in the park. And I should say those in Brighton were cooperative. There were no issues with any of that. So I don't think that would be an issue. We probably need to nail it down maybe a little bit differently than what we did for Apple Fest, but I'm sure that we can work with both the chief and Jim Miller on that. The setup was great for Apple Fest, don't you think, Jim and Jim?
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it's perfect. It's perfect setup. It's one we've done a couple times. We did it with the graduation. I would maybe suggest Caroline do a report for next meeting. Gives her a month to get some more ideas, maybe call a few more bands, get some more ideas. And that way she can do a presentation to us with dollar amounts. You know, maybe not fixed amounts, but at least a general idea. That gives us a month to figure out what we have in our other accounts, like Canada Day and Civic Awards, which we never had and didn't spend anything on. You know, we should have money still in the coffers for this type of thing. You know, it's all, like I said, it's pretty close to a light up. And for any of the years, well, we've done it forever, it seems that light up Brighton, and we've never had more than 50 or 60 people at once. So we should be fine.
Chief, your thought? As per pandemic issues?
Yeah, as far as pandemic, I think Jim's spot on. I think we're pretty much good to go from an Apple Fest and graduation point of view. We've got the experience behind us with that stuff. I think we've been good in the past, and I don't foresee any issues unless our government changes all our COVID rules again. So then that's a whole different story.
And
of course.
Caroline, will this be a town-driven event, or are you asking our committee to sort of be the forefront on it? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's maybe a question for Ben. We kind of came up with the idea, and he suggested I bring it in front of you in case it was something that you guys wanted to run with in partnership with the DBIA, if we wanted to involve other businesses and stuff like that. But I'm not sure. That'd be a question for Ben.
Yeah, I think it's if the municipality could kind of start the ball rolling here, we'll see how much the DBIA wants to be involved. Ultimately, the point of it is to get people downtown and maybe do some last minute shopping and to gather, as you say, with the community spirit in mind. But I think we're looking at the community events committee to kind of steer it for sure.
Okay. Well, I think we've discussed that well, and obviously the two of you are aware that our committee has lots of funding available, and I'm sure we will contribute as much as you require as our share. And I guess we don't drain the well with the DBIA. We're asking a lot of them, so I think our committee is able to fund things for you.
For this one, I think we're just asking for their support in the matter, and the fact that they know about it and are supportive of it is all we'd be looking for.
Yep. Everyone agree with that we'll give full support to this endeavor from our committee?
Can I ask a quick question, Phil? And more for Emily, I guess. But where is the Chamber of Commerce? Have they just disappeared? Do they not participate in any of these kind of things anymore?
There's some participation. I don't sit on the Chamber of Commerce. Councilor Bateman, I don't think you sit on the Chamber of Commerce board either, do you? So we don't have a whole lot from them. They just changed administrators. I know they are involved with our Economic Development Committee. So, and I think that both Ben and Carolyn probably have more connections with them than maybe some of the other staff members or committees here with Brighton, but oops, they're still here.
Yeah, they sit on our Economic Development Committee. We get a report from them monthly. Caroline and their general manager are working on a social media workshop program right now with some local businesses. But in terms of community event stuff, they've never been a huge player in that since I've been around. Maybe they were years ago or whatever, but it's kind of where we're at with our relationship there.
That good, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? We can't force people to participate, but it is what it is.
Okay, any other discussion on any further additional holiday themed activities? Is that got it? Okay, move on to correspondence. I'm not aware of any. Jessica, any input?
Sorry, that was not unmuting for me. No, nothing besides that email that we already discussed from Jerry, but you guys discussed that earlier, so.
Okay. And next meeting date, we're typically the second Tuesday, which would put us on the 9th. Should we have it premature again due to timelines? Any thoughts? I know for Caroline and Ben's benefit, the second might be better for them with what they just discussed with the 20th of December. And it might help us with the parade issues as well.
I would like to see like the earlier than later, just because getting floats and getting my people lined up and stuff, figuring things out earlier is probably better than later.
Do you think, Jim?
When's the date of the parade?
Oh, the parade's the 17th. Friday.
Better write that down.
Could we go 3 weeks, or do we feel 4 weeks is more beneficial?
The parade's on the 19th.
Yeah, Phil, sorry, I was just going to correct you. It's the 19th. That's the Friday.
I got the 17th, the 19th.
Yeah, third Friday. Yeah.
We're in October now, right? So it
Yeah.
would make sense that we probably have it earlier rather than later.
Correct.
So is everyone good for the 2nd?
Yeah, I agree that we do the 2nd because that still leaves 1 or 2 weeks in case we need to tie up some more loose ends before the parade. You know, it might come down to a busy time for us, right? So
yep.
I'm good with the 2nd.
Are you good for the 2nd, Jessica?
Yeah, sorry. 2 screens is really messing me up.
I can barely handle 1, so you're doing well. How you doing, Murray?
I'm doing well, thanks. Very interesting conversation.
Checking on you. So the 2nd of November at 4:30. Motion to adjourn, please. Anyone?
Yeah.
Thanks. Second, Jim?
Second.
Oh, thanks, Murray. Okay, thanks, folks. Take
All right,
care.
Phil, who was the mover? It
Mark
doesn't show on my screen.
I was. It's Mark.
Thank you.
Murray.
Mark was.
Murray was the
Murray
second.
was second. Okay.
Ben's got a question, I think.
No, I was just waving.
Okay. Okay, thanks all. Take care.